So one day I'm sitting there and think to myself, today's the day I'm gonna stop being one of those losers who's never played Dexterity for the Game Boy. And lucky for me, I already have it, thanks to seeing it on a random person's list of recommendations a decade ago, a whim, and being a sucker for characters with red hair, cause I have red hair, and after a constant gentle tinge of guilt for years, I finally played the game I bought 10 years ago. For 10 minutes. Yeah, I actually play all my games, no big deal. Cross it off the backlog. And I never run out of reasons for justifying why I have so many games. I mean, sure, backlogs can be rough, but with many of us drowning in all our backlogged games, the solution is so obvious and simple. Buy more! Or you could always buy less. In fact, being known as Mr. Consolidation myself, this is generally my advice when it comes to this subject. Consolidating, possibly making it easier to focus on what you have, more space, more money, less guilt. There's a lot of potential benefits I've covered quite a few times. I'll have a video and a pinned comment if you're interested. That said, while I do try to bring awareness to the idea of paring down your collection, there are still plenty of people with large collections who are perfectly happy. So, just for fun, I thought I'd approach this topic by looking at some of the possible benefits of a large collection. But don't be surprised if I put my smarty pants back on. I can't help myself. I got so many pairs of these. Is there a chance this could end up being sort of a backhanded video that actually promotes consolidation instead of large collections? Yeah, probably. I am who I am. Okay, so first benefit to having a lot of games. You have a lot of games. For most people, the math is pretty simple. Video games are a good thing, so more video games must be better, right? In theory, yes, time constraints aside, having more games is exciting. Why stop at the games you'll definitely play when you can also buy the games you'll never play or probably never play? And in case you're still not on board, simple solution. Just tell yourself, but I could play them. Just like I could never eat ice cream again. That's a factual statement, thanks to the magic of words like could and can. Sing it with me now, people. I think I can. I think I can. Finally finish Okami. I think I can. I think I can. Play some Lost Vikings. I think I can. I think I can. Wipe my butt good enough the first time. Hey, I'm just looking out for you. The idea is to be happy with your collection. So, while I do suggest consolidation pretty regularly, something else I'll also suggest is to just put up the white flag and surrender to your game library and the idea that you are going to play each and every single one of your games to completion. That's right, still haven't collected all 900 Korok seeds in Zelda, have ya? Surrendering to the enormity of your game collection is kind of like consolidation, but just without actually selling off your games. In both cases, you're admitting you're not going to get to everything. It's just a matter of whether or not keeping them around is going to stress you out or bring you joy by knowing they are there. Ever get in a random mood to play something you couldn't have predicted the week before, day before, or heck, even the moment before? I mean, sure, oftentimes you can predict what you'll want to play. Happens to me all the time. I see it coming. And do I feel comfortable taking the risk of not owning Chicken Shoot for GBA should the day come I want to play it? Yeah, I'm not scared of that. What scares me is the chance of leaving the kitchen burners on overnight. Matter of fact, everyone quickly check your burners, and while you're at it, maybe wipe a second time if you need to. But yeah, being comfortable and or realistic about not playing every game you own is a real skill, and while some of you might think it's silly to feel guilty about not playing your games, it is absolutely 100% a very real thing that people tell me about all the time. So if it's not an issue for you, I'd ask you to have some compassion for your fellow gamers and be glad it's not an issue for you. Maybe serve as an inspiration. I mean, these are just video games. They shouldn't control our lives. My Wii U threatens to be dead if I don't play it often enough. Tell me that isn't toxic behavior. But I show it who's boss by sitting on it. And I didn't wipe good enough the first time. You're looking at a man in control. But as predicted, sure enough, this video has been more on the side of consolidation. Sorry, I can't help how I truly feel. But let's try to get back on the other side. So, if you have a lot of games, then you have a lot to choose from. This is obvious. But the comparison I like to bring up is that of a library. You would never have the goal to finish an entire library, right? I mean, who do you think you are, Belle from Beauty and the Beast? But having such a selection is kind of cool, and a little idea that I like to bring up that people always seem to love is that if you think of your game collection as a library, then treat it like a library or game/video rental store by allowing yourself to check out a certain number of games for a specific period of time, helping to bring some focus to what you're playing while also giving you a splash of nostalgia from the good old days of rental stores. And hey, you can even sweeten the deal further by leaving the courtesy calls they'd give you reminding you to return your stuff.
This is Ed from Bradley Video, calling to remind you that one Donkey Kong Country is now 8,637 days overdue. So, if you could just get that back to us as soon as possible, that'd be super. Thank you.
Now, when it comes to having a large collection, one of the biggest things people point to is that the price of games can go up. In fact, this seems to happen more often than not. So the idea behind buying a lot of games is often to prevent yourself from missing out on a deal, assuming it will become a deal in retrospect. What costs goodness knows how much now only cost a fraction of that however many years ago. And while that's obviously an extreme case, the same can happen for cheaper games as well. I bought Vector Man for $10 over 10 years ago, and thank goodness, because now it costs... Look out for me, Wall Street. But even in the cases where the price of a game did go up from the time you bought it, my argument is that even if you do wait to buy a game way later, with all the money you saved by not panic buying games, it tends to even out, or perhaps you'd even come out ahead. But that really varies from person to person and depending on the games you're considering. Still, there's a satisfaction in just knowing that you have it. People collect all kinds of other stuff that doesn't actually do anything except bring you insane amounts of joy. My bread bag clips have gotten me through some rough days. Collecting stuff is just something humans do and seem to really like. It's in our nature, and for many game collectors, the fact that video games can also be played, is a bonus. In addition to, of course, you all know it, giving them a nice good stare. Then come back and stare at them some more. But there you have it, my reasons for why consolidation can be a good thing disguised as a video talking about why more games is a good thing. What can I say? I'm apparently not very good at hiding things. I played hide and go seek with my niece and nephew and felt like I had the perfect hiding spot, but somehow they found me. I give up. Either way, the moral of the story is to just find happiness with your collection, whether that means growing it or consolidating it. The reason I push so hard for consolidation is because it feels like literally nobody else does. I'm just trying to spread awareness and let people know that it is a viable option, because I see and hear about how negative a large collection can become for some, not all, people. But with that, be sure to let me know your thoughts about my thoughts, along with anything else you'd like to say. So leave a comment down below, and I will see ya in the next video.
the retro bird, yeah. And he's talking about video games. He's the retro bird, oh